You know that feeling.
Hmm.
That relentless drive to work harder, climb higher, chase the next thing,
The next achievement.
exactly the next dollar. And you tell yourself, right, this is the path.
This is how I get freedom, happiness.
Yeah, finally having enough.
Hmm.
But, well, the harder you push, the more you find yourself just running on empty.
Yeah. Burnout city.
Totally. Stress is just this constant shadow. Free time feels like a luxury you can't possibly afford.
Hmm.
And, despite all the outward signs of success, maybe, there's this quiet, kind of unsettling emptiness.
Something's definitely missing inside.
It feels like you're locked in this race, and the finish line just keeps getting further away. Have you ever felt that pull, that kind of exhaustion?
Oh, absolutely. It's a story we hear so often, isn't it? Reaching those peaks of external success,
Right.
only to find the internal landscape feels, well, barren. Or even like you're trapped.
Absolutely. And that very common struggle, that's really our starting point for this deep dive. We're looking at insights drawn from a really fascinating source. It's a book about the journey of a Japanese entrepreneur, Naoki Sano.
Okay.
His path took him through, like, immense business success, then straight into this devastating personal and professional collapse.
Wow.
And eventually, on this quest for wisdom in India, where he finds a guru, the source says the book is like 90% true story, really raw and realistic.
And it really focuses on a question that I think resonates everywhere. Is it actually possible to achieve serious financial success and have deep personal fulfillment, real freedom, and, time?
Exactly. Can you have the money and the time and feel genuinely good about your life? And the source doesn't just suggest it's possible. It hints there's this distinct, maybe counterintuitive secret,
Uh-huh.
an Indian view, which kind of translates to a secret technique or maybe a hack.
Okay, a life hack from a guru?
Yeah, something like that. Something Naoki Sano learned from this guru that promises exactly that combination.
So our mission here in this deep dive is really to unpack the key insights from this material. We
Mhm.
want to understand this different approach to building both wealth and happiness, and importantly, explore a practical method the source presents for actually applying it.
What did these successful people who are still struggling inside, what did they actually figure out?
Let's find out.
Okay, so let's dig into how the source illustrates this problem. It gives us some really vivid stories of people caught in that chase.
Mm,
Naoki Sano himself is the main example.
right.
Started as a hairdresser, super dedicated, built it up to 5 salons, pulling in over 8 million Japanese yen a month in revenue.
Wow, that's significant, especially in his late 20s, early 30s.
Huge numbers. And he poured an incredible amount, like 150 million JPY, into self-improvement. Seminars, coaches, consultants,
Trying to find the answer there.
convinced this investment was the key,
Yeah.
to even more growth and eventually happiness.
But as the business scaled, so did the pressure, right? The costs, the debt.
Exactly. He was working these punishing hours, the source says, 14 or more a day,
Oof.
sometimes starting at 3 a.m. Couldn't sleep. His core belief, though, was that you had to endure this struggle. Pushing through the pain would eventually bring joy, time, money, friends.
The classic hustle now, live later trap.
Totally. And then it all just came crashing down. He found out his staff manager and his wife were having an affair.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. And that betrayal just triggered this cascade. Key staff left, sales plummeted, his marriage ended, finances collapsed. He hit absolute rock bottom,
Wow.
standing on an edge, seriously thinking about suicide, feeling like it was the only way out from all that pain.
And that kind of internal emptiness, even after hitting external milestones, wasn't just Sano's story in the source, was it?
No, exactly. There's another character, Dago, apparently based on a real entrepreneur, Daisuke Okuzawa. Successful since college, built businesses.
Had the external stuff figured out.
Right. But inside, felt lost, constantly rushed, fighting the clock, asking these huge questions about the meaning of life.
The what's it all for question.
Yeah. And the source even mentions this really poignant story of a wealthy elderly woman
Okay.
living alone in this big mansion, tons of money, but her family, scattered, distant, hardly any visitors.
So materially rich, but relationally poor.
Completely. She felt like her only real place was just sitting on her sofa, totally lonely. Money wasn't the issue, but connection, purpose,
Yeah.
joy just wasn't there.
These stories really highlight the core tension, don't they? The real limits of chasing success just through external stuff.
Yeah, they got the wealth, or were close to it, but were deeply unhappy or felt lost.
Which brings us perfectly to the central revelation from the guru in this source, a teaching presented as just definitive truth.
Okay, what is it?
All wealth is born from a beautiful state.
Wait, all wealth, not just like inner peace or happiness, but actual money, external abundance.
That's what the guru states definitively.
Okay, that flips everything upside down. So what does he mean by a beautiful state, and how's that different from what he calls the suffering state?
Yeah, the source breaks it down pretty clearly. The suffering state, well, it's marked by constant comparison.
Uh-huh. Like scrolling social media.
Exactly.
Ah,
Seeing other people's apparently perfect lives, fancy meals, whatever, and feeling that pang of jealousy or inadequacy.
yeah, I know that feeling.
It's a state filled with fear, anger, feeling trapped by attachments to outcomes, beliefs, things. It's just constant inner conflict, this sense of lack or struggle.
Sounds utterly exhausting.
It is. Now, contrast that with the beautiful state. The source describes this as an inner overflow of love, joy, gratitude.
Okay.
It's this feeling of profound, serene peace, not forced, but just naturally bubbling up from inside.
All right, so the guru is saying wealth comes from that state.
Yeah.
And trying to get money or time while you're stuck in the suffering state is like swimming upstream.
Incredibly difficult, yeah. The real key, the leverage point, is shifting into the beautiful state first.
That really challenges that whole ingrained idea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you have to suffer through the hard work, the scarcity,
Yeah.
to earn the reward later.
It's the complete opposite, really, and it ties directly into another core principle the guru emphasizes. Your inner state is basically a mirror reflecting your outer reality.
Right. We usually think it's the other way around. Get the fancy car, the big house, the money.
And then you'll feel happy inside. External leads to internal.
But the guru says, nope, causality runs the other way.
Exactly. The source stresses that being internally fulfilled, peaceful, free from suffering first, that's the fertile ground where external abundance actually grows naturally.
Okay.
It even gives the example of people who get rich quick,
Mhm.
Lottery winners, maybe a sudden windfall,
Uh-huh.
but then they lose it all just as fast. The explanation offered is that their inner state was still unclean, still rooted in suffering, comparison, lack.
So the inner foundation wasn't there to support the outer gain.
Precisely. The inner world dictates the outer result. It couldn't be sustained.
This is where that analogy comes in, right? The one the source uses that's really memorable.
Ah, yes, the butterfly analogy. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Okay, so the question is, if money's like a butterfly, how do you catch it? What's the typical answer?
Well, the usual approach, the one aligned with that suffering state thinking, is you grab a net, right?
Right.
And you just frantically run around chasing it everywhere you think it might land.
Sweating, working hard, maybe burning out like the author did. Those 14-hour days, 3 a.m. starts.
And the source points out the flaw.
Hmm.
You spend all day running, exhausted. But the butterfly, that elusive money or abundance, it just flits away, always just out of reach.
So that relentless chase, that struggle, doesn't actually guarantee you'll catch it or keep it.
Exactly. So what's the guru's counterintuitive technique? His answer is so simple, it's almost disarming. If you want to catch butterflies, create a forest.
Create a forest, don't chase, build something.
Precisely. The forest is your beautiful inner state. The work isn't the chase, it's cultivating this inner world.
Okay.
You nurture it, you fill it with blooming flowers. The source says these represent love, joy, and gratitude.
Ah, I see.
And when your inner forest is vibrant, beautiful, flourishing, the butterflies, the money, opportunities, abundance, ease, they're naturally drawn to it. They come to you.
Wow. So instead of putting all your energy chasing out there, you focus in here, creating the conditions.
That's the core idea. And the source adds, the more flowers you grow inside, the deeper your love, joy, gratitude, the more butterflies are drawn to your forest.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about attracting them, it's about sustainability. The butterflies pollinate the flowers, which leads to fruit, creating this cycle of abundance that feeds itself.
Like building an inner ecosystem.
Exactly. An inner ecosystem that naturally generates and sustains the external wealth and fulfillment.
That analogy really clicks. It makes so much sense when you frame it like that. But, okay, if it's just about cultivating this inner beautiful state, why do so many of us, especially those really driven people in the stories, get so stuck in the suffering state? What stops the shift?
Yeah, that's a crucial question. The source points to a major obstacle: fixed mindsets.
Fixed mindsets. Okay.
The guru calls them a fufu, 3 fixed ideas. These are rigid beliefs people hold about themselves, about other people, and about life in general.
Can you give some examples? What does that sound like?
Sure. It's like saying to yourself, oh, I'm just this kind of person. I'm not good at sales. Or this is my limit. I can't possibly earn more than X. That's a fixed idea about yourself
Okay.
or about others. Oh, that person is just difficult. They'll never change. That limits how you interact.
Right, puts them in a box.
Exactly. Or about life itself.
Hmm.
Life is just inherently hard. It's always a struggle. These limiting beliefs, they're like uh, fences or walls in your inner forest. They stop new flowers from blooming and keep you stuck in that suffering patch.
So how do you start to break those down, loosen their grip?
The source suggests a really simple but quite powerful technique. The next time you notice yourself thinking one of these fixed thoughts
Ah,
about your own limits or someone else or how hard things are, just pause. Take a deep breath, a conscious one, and then try to look at that thought a bit objectively. Ask yourself, is this really a fact or is this just one of my fixed ideas?
just questioning it.
Exactly. Just the act of noticing and questioning creates a little bit of space. It challenges the rigidity. It helps you keep a more open, positive outlook, which in turn supports that beautiful state.
And what are the benefits the source talks about when you start letting go of these fixed ideas?
Well, the transformation described is pretty significant. When you release fixed ideas about others, you might start seeing new positive sides to people you thought you knew inside out.
Ah, so relationships can deepen.
Yeah.
Family, partners.
Exactly. Relationships improve overall, and letting go of fixed ideas about yourself and life, that opens up new possibilities, new social connections, maybe work opportunities you never saw before.
Makes sense. You're not limiting yourself anymore.
Right. And importantly, the source keeps coming back to this. Dismantling these fixed mindsets is crucial for ultimately attracting greater wealth, too. It challenges the very idea that work has to be suffering. Maybe that belief is the fixed idea holding you back.
Right, the belief itself is the block.
The guru's point, according to the source, is that for someone operating from that state of freedom, love, gratitude, the enlightened state, not suffering, everything gathers, things just flow to them.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical. It sounds great, cultivating this beautiful state, challenging fixed mindsets. But how? How do you actually do that day to day? It's easy to talk about.
Harder to implement, yeah. And this is exactly where the source introduces a very concrete, actionable tool. It calls it the Guru Note.
The guru note. Okay.
It's a specific method designed to help you regularly check in with your inner world and actively, consciously cultivate that beautiful state.
And it involves
A notebook and a pen. That's basically it.
simple enough.
You take a blank page, draw across like a plus sign, dividing the page into 4 sections. Each quadrant has a specific job in this whole process.
All right, 4 sections. Walk us through them. What goes in each one?
Okay, top right. This section is titled Hunra, which translates roughly as scattered suffering.
Scattered suffering. Okay.
This is where you write down your inner pain, your negative emotions, what's bothering you right now. The source says be specific, like feeling low confidence after that work mistake, or feeling really lonely, like I have no one to truly talk to.
So get it out of your head on the paper. Acknowledge the suffering.
Exactly. Give it form. Then, bottom right section, this is labeled divine or the inner God.
Inner God. Okay.
Here you write down your ideal state, your desired self, the version of you who's living free from that suffering you just listed, and you start these sentences with I am, using positive present tense language.
Okay, so examples.
If the suffering was low work confidence, the divine might be I am full of confidence and truly enjoy my work. If it was loneliness, maybe I joyfully spend fulfilling time with trusted friends I can share anything with.
Got it. Suffering, acknowledge, top right. Ideal, self-defined, bottom right. What about the left side?
Top left, this is rishi, or ish, roughly, that which awakens talent and passion.
Okay.
In this section, you write down the feelings, the emotions you'd have when that ideal divine state is real. Really visualize it. What does it feel like to be confident at work, to be deeply connected? Write down those feelings. Yes, I did it. This freedom feels amazing. I feel so light and happy.
Capturing the emotional juice of the ideal state. And the last one, bottom left.
Bottom left is swadharma, or soul's purpose. This is for specific actions you can take today to move towards your ideal.
Okay, actionable steps.
Yes, but here's the crucial bit the source stresses. Think about these actions from the perspective of your beautiful state, your desired self, not just another task on your to-do list.
How so?
Ask yourself, what would I do if I had no limitations, if I was already living from that ideal place? So, if your ideal is vibrant work and finishing at 5 p.m. sharp,
Uh-huh.
the Swadharma action isn't just leave at 5, it might be, Work vibrantly, focus on my contribution, finish my tasks efficiently so I can joyfully leave at 5 p.m. See the difference? It's action aligned with your desired state, not driven by obligation or suffering.
That distinction feels really important. Action from purpose and positivity, not just ticking a box. Does the source suggest like a ritual for doing this writing?
It does, actually, and it's designed to help shift your state before you even start writing.
Okay.
Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, focus on your breath, take 3 slow, deep breaths, making the exhale longer than the inhale that really helps calm the nervous system.
Right.
Then gently bring your focus to the space between your eyebrows. Imagine a small, gentle flame there, helping to quiet the mind chatter. Once you feel a bit calmer, slowly, intentionally, lift the corners of your mouth into a soft smile. Just hold that for a few moments. Feel it. Then, open your eyes and start writing, beginning with the scattered suffering section.
Wow, that ritual itself sounds like a mini practice in cultivating that beautiful state before you even get to the note itself.
Exactly. It sets the inner stage. The source also gives a couple of practical tips for using the guru note, like focus on one main theme per session: work or money or relationships. Don't try to tackle everything at once.
Okay, pick one focus area.
Yeah, and try to do it consistently. Same time each day, maybe morning or night. Make it a real habit.
And the benefits.
Yeah.
What does the source say happens when you do this regularly, beyond just getting organized thoughts?
Well, multiple things. Writing down the suffering helps you externalize it, makes it feel more manageable than just anxious thoughts swirling around.
Right, gives it perspective.
Writing the ideal state and feelings clarifies your goals and desires, makes them feel more real. And writing the swadharma actions gives you clear, aligned steps forward.
Makes sense.
The source claims that even just 15 minutes a day on this, which is what, like 1% of your day, can significantly help you maintain that beautiful state for much longer periods. It shifts your whole experience and ultimately how much abundance you attract.
That's really powerful. It gives a tangible way to actually do these things we've been talking about. And it kind of brings us back full circle to the author, Naoki Sano's own journey.
Yeah.
After hitting that terrible burnout, being hospitalized, reaching that point of utter despair, he had this huge realization. He saw a photo of his daughter, who was 2 at the time,
Uh-huh.
and it hit him like a ton of bricks.
Huh?
He didn't even really know her face. He didn't know the contours, the expressions.
Wow. That's intense.
He'd been so completely consumed by chasing external success, by the work, by that belief that you had to suffer, that he'd been totally absent from the most important parts of his own life, right there in front of him.
And that stark realization became his turning point.
Exactly. It made him consciously shift his priorities, choose to focus on being present, spending time with his kids, even if it meant scaling back the intense work focus that had defined him before.
It really underscores the source's core message, doesn't it? That true wealth isn't just the money you grind out through struggle. It fundamentally includes the richness of relationships, presence, connection.
It's such a potent reminder, too, that by constantly looking outward, comparing ourselves, chasing these external goalposts, we often become blind to the amazing abundance we might already have.
Yeah, like good relationships or health, moments of peace.
We're so busy chasing some butterfly we think is somewhere else, we don't even see the potential forest right here inside us.
We're taught that scarcity and struggle are necessary, when maybe, as the source suggests, real abundance comes when we tend to our inner garden first.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, the central takeaway from this source material feels really clear. Lasting financial abundance, genuine freedom. They aren't mainly about just working harder from that place of stress and lack. They flow more naturally when you fundamentally shift your inner state, moving from that suffering state, comparison, fear, lack, to a beautiful state filled with love, joy, gratitude.
And that internal shift, helped by practical tools like this guru note, is presented as the real rudder, the secret technique.
Yeah, the secret to naturally attracting abundance, both money and time. And it takes courage, right? To challenge those fixed mindsets about ourselves, others, and life.
It really offers a profoundly different way to look at success and how to build a truly fulfilling life.
So building on that idea, inner world, shaping outer reality, and thinking about the author's wake-up call, here's a final thought for you to maybe sit with after this deep dive. What's one small adjustment you could make today? Not to your external actions necessarily, but to your inner state or your perspective. That might have a surprising ripple effect on your external world, maybe a key relationship, or just your own feeling of abundance right now. What does cultivating your beautiful state actually feel like for you?